Alright, we have a best of three between Skunky here and Reckless Bankai. First game is going to be Trox versus Forge on Bedrock. Bankai is the Forge, Skunky is the Trox. We have, hey, he did not send one of his starting Marines to the supply right in front of his base, so he's going to be kind of hurting on blue for a little bit. Going Gen 2nd and building a Jackrabbit. Meanwhile, Skunky over here went for an offensive grunt, a singular grunt, so that's kind of risky. If he spots the single grunt, that's just a free pick. He might do that with the rabbit. Nope, he's going to drive past and be met by a chopper. So very odd for him to have passed his jackrabbit directly through the middle of the map. Not exactly the smartest thing to do when you're UNSC versus Banished. I mean, even in a matchup where you think you can rush them if you mini-steal, you want to be sneaky with that rabbit, because this is going to put Bankai in a big hole. And for some reason, he hasn't even queued his 4th pad yet, which is going to be an armory. Pretty early armory. I don't really like the build. I don't think it accomplishes anything that a Gen 5th doesn't do better. And we might see a mini-steal here if the Marine can't kill the grunt, but I think it... Nope, he stopped moving. And we're going to see a mini-steal here. Meanwhile, he does not have enough to queue this Forge Hog, so there was literally no point in going Armory 4th. Like, it's still not queued. He's about to have his 5th pad anyway. I mean, look, he literally just missed all the supply of having that 4th. There was no point in doing what he did there. Meanwhile, Skunky is just now picking up the middle supplies, so pretty late. Oh my god. Yeah, this is... this is worse. Honestly, I thought I was, like, upset by this, but no, this is worse. He's bought 3 minis instead of buying his 4th pad, which is now going to be a work council. That's a horrible build. I mean, I can't sugarcoat that, it's just horrible. Meanwhile, a raid camp offensively. And then an Apex. Okay. We're on another planet right now. This is a new meta. Some kind of insane balance change has taken place that I'm not aware of. Okay, Bankai not spending his supplies. He just now spends it getting a 2nd generator and a turret, although I would like to see some units because he's sitting at a very unhealthy 9 pop. He needs to be working on these nodes like yesterday. We're not seeing any extra upgraded pads despite him playing Forge. This is a very awkward spot to have a barracks, but he's really intimidated by this because he doesn't know that Skunky has bought all of his own mini bases. Finally getting on top of this node. Although Skunky is also late to his 2nd node, I don't know where all his grunts went. He should have way more. But, I mean, he had a horrible build, so it makes sense that he doesn't have that many units. But Bankai is literally just not building. Like, this... How are you going to play Forge if you're not just spamming upgraded buildings and spamming units? Because you have to abuse your superior eco. Meanwhile, Trox isn't exactly doing anything very Troxy. We're not seeing any expos. The build isn't exactly good, or it doesn't seem to have very much of a purpose. He's just kind of taking nodes like he would do if this were any other game. Meanwhile, Bankai is still pretty far from Tech 2, but he hasn't really actually dedicated to Tech 1 at all, so he's kind of in limbo right now. He doesn't have many units, he doesn't have upgraded pads, he just has one node, and he's content to sit here on top of it. So I'm not really liking that. I mean, he'd be way more ahead. There's no reason you can't just play Tech 1 into Trox. If UNSC gets a pop advantage, I mean, you'll roll over just about any banished. And that's what Skunky did. Gave you that opportunity there. Because he bought so many minis, he delayed his build. The Forge player here could have just built units, pushed forward, and probably just won. Just going Forge Hog, Marine, Sniper. But instead, we're seeing quite the opposite. He's getting bullied out of the middle of the map. And we're just now seeing Tech 2. Skunky is still a far ways off, but well, he had a horrible build. Bankai's was like a 4 out of 10. Skunky's was like a 1 out of 10, if I'm being honest. It was not good. He isn't really looking to defend this base, he's just going to pick up another one and upgrade this to try and buy time. Meanwhile, getting up his garages. Typically you'd want to sack some pad to be able to get them both up at once. Armory's up, but he doesn't have the power to upgrade his Forge Hog because he took another base and upgraded his Expo. So now he's left to just kind of scatter bomb. There are no NG shields. For like half of that, he didn't have his NG shields up. He could have taken less damage, even though that was a super underwhelming scatter bomb. Yeah, that's not what you want, because now he's even more far off from getting his Forge Hog upgrade. Which, believe it or not, I think would make a big difference in holding this. Like, there's not even any base damage here, it's just a Chosen. All you have to do is kill the NGs. But looks like the turrets are doing their job, and Skunky doesn't care to continue to push. Although I think he could have stayed for a lot longer. If he had really read the situation, he could have, had these jump brutes over there. Then that push would have really been a problem. He's getting his War Council back up. I'm hoping he prioritizes upgrading that Chosen. I don't know what he's spending his power on right now, but he needs to be spending it on his Tech 2 Chosen. And I don't know if I would even push without that upgrade right now. Very awkward bulwark. Nothing here is really low enough to warrant that. And a very unnecessary beam. That Chosen was stuck and gonna die anyway. I mean, that Forge Hog, not Chosen. So I don't like the use of those leader powers. Although, looking at Bankai's situation, he can't really do anything to abuse his leader powers. Looks like he's floating one. He doesn't even know what he wants to do. He's got more Gales than units here. But even that, let's see. No, it's going to be able to out-heal for this anti-infantry turret. And that's going to signal to Skunky that he needs to leave if he's paying attention. Because if you can't kill an anti-infantry turret, you can't really afford to just sit here in it. You should really turn around. I don't know where these Gales are going, though. They need to stay on top of the turret. Skunky could use more engineers. What are we seeing behind this? No 3rd gen, but this 3rd base is coming up. And it's been scouted. So perhaps this is why Skunky is just dedicating to this push. Because he feels like he has to do something, when really he'd be in a fine spot to just take his own 3rd, double back, get more of a death ball going. Forge Hog is just now coming back out. These garages are not being pumped out of consistently, but he holds anyway because, like I said, the infinite healing anti-infantry turret, it just can't sustain a push into that. And this Chosen is that still Tech 1? I can't tell. It's always hard to tell. I have a feeling that that's still Tech 1. Yeah, he's just now upgrading it. He needed that like 3 minutes ago. That's whenever you hit Tech 2, your number one priority, whenever you have your Tech 1 leader out, is to just upgrade it to Tech 2. Sometimes that's not the case, like with Cutter, you might want to prioritize infantry levels or combat tech, but most leaders, and that's just because your infantry plays so good, and that upgrade for the Spartan is so bad. Not other leaders don't have that kind of dynamic, especially a leader like Trox. It's so hero-centric. Still no 3rd gen, so Tech 3 really not in sight if he keeps building these counter units. And this is the issue. Why Forge is so good. He can just kind of match your pop and then take a big fight and use his big drops. Meanwhile, he's not spending yellow. He's just getting Tech 3 for the Forge Hog. Finally, this Forge Hog gets upgraded. Hopefully, he doesn't take such a long time to upgrade it to Tech 3 once he gets to that point. Which we see 3 generators. So Tech 3 is not going to be that far out. Another push is coming. He built a Locust. I really have no idea why. I just don't like these units at this point in the game. Is there a bulwark? There's no bulwark. An NG shield helps negate that damage, but still a bulwark does better. And once again, look at all these Gales. You don't really need 6 Gales. I like to cap out at 5. I know that whenever I see Rock play, he has like a 2-to-1 ratio, Gales to units. Like he has more Gales than units sometimes. It's funny. But I don't really like this many Gales. I think having more Hogs would be good. You could be sending them around the map kind of like this, but in more numbers, it's much more consequential. And Kodiak drop in the back, so that's going to be pressuring this army. Only 1 Shroud. No NG shield. These Locusts are not sustainable. They're going to die if they get targeted at all. Can we see a scatter bomb? Yeah, no, he used it earlier. You want to hold your scatter bomb for when they beam you. So that's a pretty big mistake, and that's going to be evening out the fight a little bit. I don't know where these units are going. Is he giving up? Looks like he's retreating to fight under his turrets. And now Skunky is forced to back up. Meanwhile, all these... Oh, there's an Erad. Actually kind of decent. I'm not going to say worth it because that's so expensive. And he lost his Trox. That sucks. But Bankai's done a great job of keeping these nodes. More so Skunky just a failure from him. Because if you're on the kind of forward footing, if you have more units, you have map control. There's no reason to let them have the nodes. Certainly Skunky should have these 2 nodes, but good on Bankai for taking advantage of that. We're just seeing a kind of very schizophrenic unit composition right now. We're seeing Marauders, Rangers, Banshees, Locusts, Hunters, Shrouds. It's just kind of all over the place. Don't really like it. Meanwhile, Bankai taking another base. Going unscouted, so not a bad idea. Random Banshee harass. The thing is, they say that Banshees are like flying hogs, and they kind of are, but you need more of them, because they're not less expensive, are they? But they do fly. You need way more of them if you're gonna try and harass with them. You can't just build one Banshee, send it to a mini base, and expect that to be worth it. We're still not seeing Tech 3 from Skunky, which that really hurts. Because a Tech 3 Chosen would really help here. And what have these Locusts really accomplished? Like, nothing. And now, because Bankai was able to get away with the 3-base eco, he's just going directly into Vultures. And I think that spells doom. This game's over. It's just a matter of Bankai closing at this point. You can easily just take a fight, completely headbutt this army, and then drop in Grizzlies. Like, his eco's looking insane. And then another Kodiak drop behind that too. Oh my god, he didn't upgrade to the God Hog. Massive mistake. That thing is insane. This Kodiak needs to lock down. You need to get in vision of the army to fight it. He's busy chasing a single unit. His Kodiak gets picked off, and now it looks like he's going to start clicking forward. Reinforcements queued before he gets the Tech 3 Forge Hog. That's just such a mistake. Unbreakable for the Scatter Bomb. A little bit overkill. You really want to try and use your leader powers with the most consequential army you have when it comes to invulnerability. And I guess you kind of push forward with everything, but I think for better timing there, you could have just sat in your base for a bit. Got up a bigger mass, because he wasn't really coming to you, so why press the engagement? Just now, Skunky is realizing that this 4th base exists, and he's probably realizing what a bad spot he's in now. Or at least he should. But he's without any base damage whatsoever. He can't make a push. In fact, he's not even sitting at 80 pop. Nor is he anywhere close to Tech 3. He's just kind of losing on all fronts. It looks like he's turning around for this 4th base, but that's going to leave his 2nd open. And trading a 4th for a 2nd is never going to be good for you. That is, if Bankai pounces on this fast enough. He really should be base trading right now. No? Okay, he's panicking. I don't know what's happening. He's fighting a hunter in the middle of the map with 100 population. These Kodiaks need to be moved. Okay, he wants to save his base. There was no point in not just trading. He might not even save it anyway, although if Skunky wants to... Oh... If Skunky wants to kill it, he's got to focus down the Gales, which he's not doing. Erad, he uses it right off the rip there once he gets it back. And it does get a good amount of hogs, but once again, like, was it worth it? He could have clicked Tech 3 with that power. He could have had... I mean, even if we're talking about the first Erad he did, he could have had Tech 3 so long ago and had this Chosen, like, vetted up, Tech 3... Meanwhile, this one hog is going about its business, unmolested by any of Blue's units. Unmolested, not molested. Mustard. I guess I got mustard on the brain for some reason. The Gales are getting targeted, but there's so many that they're just healing each other. And really, you need a lot more than one Reaver to kill a Gale at this point. Yeah. So, I guess we're actually going to continue with Gosshogs. I was thinking we were going to see Vultures, and really I would have liked that play. Seeing as Skunky is so far from Tech 3, just going air, forcing him to build Reavers, stay in Tech 2, that really benefits you. Plus the way, oh my god, and he didn't pick this base back up, so Skunky is able to secure a third, and there's no scout on it at all. Big mistake. This Kodiak is a bit too close to the turrets. But you can see he's got upgraded rabbits for vision. Not a bad play. Finally, we have the Tech 3 Forge Hog. This engagement is not going to go well for Skunky at all. Walks through a scatter bomb, just eats it outright. Really good beam though. Not enough. Not nearly enough. There's just, the army here is not of consequence. All these hogs, upgraded with Goss, all these Gales, the God Hog himself, the Jesus Jeep, the Muhammad Mobile, the Christ car is unstoppable at this point. Like, this third is not developed enough. Behind this push, he can use Grizzly Battalion, use another Kodiak drop. There's no stopping it at this point. So it took him probably like 10 more minutes than it should have, but Bankai was able to do what I alluded to earlier, of just kind of pushing forward and smothering them. Once again, the lone Banshee is on mini duty. You really have to build more than one Banshee to harass minis. This is proof. I know this is Liam White casting, but just look at this. I'm trying to stress my point. This takes too long. This game is over anyway, but we'll see how hard Skunky makes this for Bankai. Because really, it should be easy. I don't know why he's not just on Vulture by now. We're seeing air upgrades. I think he should just sack all these garages and replace them with air pads, though. Get logistics and just start printing. He hasn't even used these Vulture nukes. I don't know why. And when he's using them on the Shroud. That's an interesting choice. Finally, we have a Tech 3 chosen, so big accomplishment here. And I think Bankai's attention right now is just super split. He needs to focus on something. Right now it seems like he's just clicking X on the floor and letting his units target whatever. I think I would have just aimed the base down. Like NGs first, of course, and then the base, because you have enough DPS here. And yeah, the towel has been thrown in. And game 1 goes to Bankai, which I think makes sense. I do like Forge in that matchup, and I'm kind of glad Forge won, because generally, if Trox wins, it's like at the 40+ minute mark. Looks like we're gonna see Frontier next. And BC is gonna spectate. I'm not sure what they want. Let me see. Okay. Game 2 of Bankai versus Skunky is going to be on Mirage. And we're going to see a blue Pavium and a red Shipmaster. I guess no rules were really agreed upon to the start of this match. So Shipmaster is allowed. Probably shouldn't be, but that's okay because people at this level don't really abuse ship like they do at higher levels. We're going to see a Ghost open already kind of strange, especially against a Pavium who's known to open with multiple choppers. And Ghosts certainly lose to choppers until you have that shield upgrade. Rather strange pathing from Skunky. Looks like actually neither player went for the middle power, which is something good players will always send one of their starting units to. There's a chopper here now, but it's completely uncontested. 2 minis have already been picked up by Bankai. And we're going to see a generator 4th. He really likes this build. I really don't. Because what is he going to do with this? He's going to struggle to do anything. All he can really do is put pads on them. He has no power to have an honor guard behind this. He has no power to upgrade ghosts. I mean, maybe he could afford cloak, but I don't know how good cloak is in this situation. I mean, there are only 4 nodes on this map, so that kind of eats into its potency a little bit. And yeah, we are going to see pads. Just pads, nothing but pads. Meanwhile, Skunky is going pad, gen. He did manage to get 2 minis. He got the middle, which he's putting a War Council on, and the single, which he put a Harvester, and he never collected his own power. And he's still refusing to. Not great. Now he is. Really, on this map, you want to prioritize taking this node, which Bankai is doing. This is something Skunky should have trained an extra grunt for, or just kind of worked it into his pathing. And once again, this build from Skunky is just not it. Just now, he's able to afford to upgrade his gen, which he's not doing. Instead, he's building his Trox, or his Pavium, and delaying the pad here. I think this is something a lot of people struggle with. They just don't build. If they feel like they need units, they'll build units, or they'll do something else. They'll just not build on a pad. You don't see this in other RTS games, where it's like, oh, I'm just not going to build a villager for this second. Like, at a high level in those games, every villager second counts. And at a high level in this game, every second where you're not building something here, you're losing something big, something of value. Double gen from Bankai as well, so pretty odd. I think Bankai before this game was asking, how do you play Mirage? And, well, this is not it. This is a very, very Tech 1 oriented map. I think that gen's a bit early. I mean, the build that Skunky did here, he should have been massively punished for. Although Skunky seems to be behind already anyway as a consequence of his build. And he's not even going to be able to get his first node, which he should have had a good while ago. Like, you don't need 8 grunts to take this node. You need 2. He upgraded grunts. He doesn't have that many places to pump grunts out of. In fact, he's not even using all that are available to him. So we'll see how that goes. He's also only upgraded 1 pad, so he can't afford all that much spam. And we're seeing a mega turret in the middle of the map. So he must have gone mega turret second point. That's very bad, because, I mean, mega turret's a meme, but if you're gonna do it like third point. You want Burnout 2 at least. Burnout 1 just does not scale into the mid game. We're not seeing an expo, we're not really seeing a tremendous amount of units, so I kind of worry for Skunky here. But let's see what Red is up to. He's going to be able to click Tech 2, which he didn't do. He's queuing a base. His node's getting decapped, he can easily send a ghost. Still not clicking Tech 2. Now he sees the mega turret, but he wants to kill this Pavium, which he should be able to do. You just kind of do what he's doing here and keep moving. Mega turrets are just horribly inaccurate. He can't stay still like this, though. Yeah, look at that. What was that? Bad rain of fire. Kills 1 ghost. And all this investment into this mega turret washed down the drain by some jump pack brutes. Yep, that's Burnout 1 alright. And he's at 15 population. Are we going to see dark skies? Okay, I thought he was going to pull like a noob move and not buy the mini after clearing it. You'd be surprised at how many people do that. Okay, way delayed buildings here. Also still hasn't built on his Expo. Looks like Skunky all united away. He was about to decap that node. He's getting in his own way. Double raid camp for double elite rangers. And then he's going to get hit in the face by foundries. So I don't think he's going to like the way this game goes. Still delaying pads here. You really don't want to do that. You want to pay attention to what minis you're buying. And macro accordingly. While doing all this other micro stuff. So it looks like he actually never even got countermeasures. He's just gone fortifications, as there were no mines being dropped there. Yeah, that base should have been way built up. And we're just seeing a ranger blob. He's mixing in some hunters, but still pumping ranger when these things are just kind of obsolete. Like you pumped, how many rangers does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's really not necessary to kill a couple Tech 1 jump pack brutes. That's just not it. You can build Marauder, and that honestly does better. Skunky's not going to be able to defend these ghosts, I guess. He has hunters sitting here. And looks like he's going to let himself lose a mini base just to a couple ghosts. Skunky's trying to get a hold of a node, but he's all uniting so much. You really don't need to all unit to take a node. You should be trying to get something done right now, like kill this middle mini or something. But he's just all uniting. Like, you can send a hunter after that if you want to, but you really need to go somewhere of consequence, make something happen. Looks like there's a pretty okay beam there. Like, not great. But kind of meh on both sides, I'd say, that interaction. And Bankai is Shipmaster. I think we're yet to see a spirit support though, which is very strange. But he is Tech 3. So he skipped paying that 500 power for his spirit support and just went Tech 3. Which I think it's okay. But he should respect the hunters, because there is a way Skunky could play against this by just spamming the living shit out of hunters, and he could be okay if Bankai played into it. Do I think he's going to do that? I don't know. He is spamming hunter, but he seems to only have one raid camp, and that's just not enough. Oh, and what is this Pavium doing? He's not upgraded. He's sitting on defense. This base is scouted. And here's the spirit support. Rain of Fire really should have waited for the Pav Hero Y ability. That wasn't bad, but it could have been better. Needs to always be popping these NG shields. Looks like he's already popped both of them. He may have not spaced them out there. I feel like it should have lasted longer. Drop ship, put in work, and it's leaving now. And he really needs to focus down these hunters. He just lost a Wraith. Pretty expensive loss, each of these. Like this Reaver here, almost died. And it might still, if it gets targeted, that should be jumped away. And the Expo is just going to get slowly killed by a Tech 3 Honor Guard. Ultramines, I don't really like that leader power. It's just not very good. Doesn't accomplish anything here, hasn't accomplished anything all game. But the Hunter spam, it's being kept up. And like I said, if you just spam Wraith into Hunter spam, guess what? It's not good. So if you went like Wraith with Tech 3 Suicide Grunts here, that would be pretty good. But people kind of neglect that unit, sadly. It's a really good unit. Skunky got the stupid leader power, the scuffed combat repair, and of course it could not save his base, because it's horrible. That's the thing, when you play Pavium, you have to be very specific with what leader powers you pick. Like, this was just a demonstration in what not to do in regards to Pavium's leader wheel. Like, he went for the one of everything, kinda. He did Burnout 1, Mega Turret, Mines, Rain of Fire. 13 minutes, we're still not seeing any kind of lich action. There are Rangers shooting at a building, trying desperately to get up a base, and it's just not going to happen. I mean, look at the pop difference. Not just that, but the tech difference, the node difference, the mini difference, the base difference. It's the same situation where this game is over. It's just a matter of Bankai closing it. Just needs to fill his pop-up with Wraiths. He's looking pretty poor blue-wise, though, and I think that's because he took these 2 bases. I really think you should kind of hold off on the 3rd base a little bit longer. This is quite early to have 3 bases. I mean, they pay themselves off quickly, but what's the point? You could just kill him right now. So he's spam upgrading his supply. Needs to make sure he's getting his pop upgrades soon. I don't see a War Council anywhere, though, so that could be an issue. Hopefully he doesn't get the Syndrome. The Syndrome being when you never upgrade past 80 pop, even though you really need to. Mega Turret on the main. And this mini base is going to go down. Bankai is not able to sack that in time to deny XP, unfortunately. And you really want more Wraiths by this point. You've been Tech 3 for how long? Honor Guard needs to be moved separately, not just Almirante shuffling. There's a Rain of Fire. But the NG shields are up. Tech 2 Hunter does go down. Oh, and a mine goes off. Still, not really good uses of the leader powers there. That's another generator. That's the 3rd. That's pretty late for your 3rd. Oh wait, it's a 4th. The base continues to be denied. The game continues to be over, and Bankai refuses continuously to close it. Like, where's the production? He's got these 3 foundries, but he's not consistently pumping out of them. They're not working. What's the point in having them? You should also get rid of these rangers. They're not super necessary to have. Just sack them into the hunters fighting, and if the hunters actually get to the point where they're scary, you just build the Tech 3 Suicide Grunts. Rangers are pointless at this point in the game. You have Tech 3 Suies. Okay, he's created a little bit of a minefield here. Looks like Bankai actually didn't notice. And he's gonna get hammered with the Y ability, which then gets cancelled, and he only runs into one of the mines. And he's gonna be able to get away. That's what happens when you try to kill an honor guard. Unless he turns around and then slow walks. What is he doing? Is this an all unit? Yeah, he's completely fine. And now there's a counter push coming in. I'm pretty sure we haven't seen a Lich this game. Super late into the game, no Lich. We've seen like every Pavium leader power but Lich at this point, and like Orbital Designator. And of course, the Burke army is not going to be able to puncture the shield. Meanwhile, an army of Wraiths will. There we go.